Hi, it's Lisa Beard here. Thank you for joining me today for a card tutorial. We are going to be making a slimline card using distressed oxide inks and the new Close to My Heart 12 by 12 stencils. There are 3 stencil packs available. Each have 3 12 by 12 stencils of different designs in them. This is Stencil Pack 1. It has the bloom of leaves, the hearts, and this beautiful mandala. You can use them on a scrapbook page or just partially use them on a card. Stencil Pack 2 has a lovely hexagon sort of honeycomb pattern. It also has stripes and a geometric diamond pattern. This card I'll be using a part of the stripy pattern from Stencil Pack 2 to create a background. I'm taking 3 different colours of the distressed oxide inks: mustard seed, the beautiful yellow, peacock feathers, and picked raspberry. If you've not used distressed oxides before and you want to purchase some, these 3 colours are a good starting point because essentially you've got your primary colours and they blend beautifully to make your secondary colours, your orange and your green and your purple. Now these inks are a dream to blend. If you've ever had trouble sponging and blending and getting a gradient with inks before, you are going to love these inks. They go on like butter. You just smooth. If you get a little harsh bit of your dauber, you can smooth it out so easily. So I'm starting at the top of my card base. I should probably mention that the card front is 9 centimeters by 20.5. That's inches, that's 8 inches by 3.5 inches. So I'm now I've gone in with the mustard seed, and as you can see where it's hitting the peacock feathers, you're starting to get a green. Now look at that harsh line there. Usually with a normal ink, that's going to be really hard, but look how easily that line blends out. So the idea is when you're trying to get this sort of blend, you go in with one colour, then go back with the other, and just keep going backwards and forwards until you're really happy with the way they're blending together and the amount of yellow versus blue versus green. I'm going to speed this up for you because it is quite the process, but I have to say it's actually a really fun process and I really enjoy working with these inks. So like I said, you go backwards and forwards. And you can see it's coming together lovely. You've got the green and it'll go in with the picked raspberry shortly, and start at the bottom and going in with the picked raspberry. I think I may have got some peacock feathers on my brand new stamp ink pad, but don't worry because it just sits on top and you can actually get that off pretty quickly with a paper towel, so which is what I've just done there. Okay, if you're interested in purchasing some distress oxide inks or any of the stencils or anything that I'm using in today's tutorial, there will be a link to my website in the description below, which will take you, and I'll list all the things that I've used and link them for you. So as you can see, I've still got a bit of blending to go there with the picked raspberry and the yellow, but look at how lovely the yellow and the picked raspberry blend to make that sort of golden orange colour. Really is such a cheery little rainbow, and I could literally play with these inks all day. I think my tip would be to do lots and lots of backgrounds at once while you've got them out, and set them aside and then make cards, because it is fun just experimenting with them and seeing what, blending different colours together. And they're also reactive with water, these inks, which is, you can get some really cool effects, which I'm about to do now. I'm going to take the stencil and I am misting that with water, so giving it a good soak. So that stencil is now pretty drenched with a bit of water. Not too much because I'm not using watercolour cardstock. So I've wiped up the mess, put the card front down, and then I'm going to put the stencil down onto the background with the wet side down. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and just hold that over it for just a few seconds, just to make sure that water really seeps into that background. And because these are distress, like the old distress inks, they do react with water to give you some amazing effects. So I'm peeling off the stencil, and you can see where the water has reacted with the inks, and you get this lovely sort of bit of texture. I'm just using the paper towel to blot that out, just to get it dried off again. And you can keep going. You can, I'm going to just squirt some water into my hands and then just splash. Like, as you can see, I'm not being particularly scientific about this. I'm just splashing, and the little droplets of water then sort of they react with the ink and form, really cool backgrounds. You could just play with this all day. There's just so many different things you can do. So I think I may have decided to do more. So I'm adding a bit more water. You kind of got to know where to stop, but really, do you though? You can just keep going and see what happens. Either way, you're going to get a really great background. Because we're using water, it does get a little bit wet, a little bit warped, but I actually just weighted it in a book, under some weight, and look how it flattened out beautifully. I'm using an anti-static pouch here because I'm going to do some heat embossing. I'm going to be using this beautiful set with all my love. It is going to be the stamp of the month for October. And I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about our new VIP program where you can actually get this stamp set for free, as well as $40 of credit to go shopping with and 15% of credit on future purchases, which you can accumulate and bank the whole time while you're a member. I'm going to link in below of a video where I talk about this program a little bit more, but it's a great program. Anyway, I have taken that heart from that set, and you might have noticed me rubbing it on my hand because it's a new set. That just gets rid of the sticky, and it just means it's going to ink up properly. Now, when I am heat embossing, I do like to use a stamp positioner tool because you don't always necessarily get a clean image first time round, and this means I can just restamp it and know that it's in the right place. So I have used the guides on the side of this positioning tool to sort of center that heart in the card front, and I'm using VersaMark ink, which is a sticky watermark ink, and wherever that is on the card front, you can heat emboss it. You put some embossing powder and heat emboss. You'll see in a minute, but the pouch on the right I've used that so that when I put the embossing powder on, any stray bits of embossing powder, they'll only stick to the VersaMark, not the inked background. You can see I've got a little patch there on the right hand side which hasn't inked very well, and this is why the stamp position is really handy, because I can go back in with a bit more VersaMark and make sure I've got a complete image. I just find this really handy. So I'm just giving a little bit of pressure in the areas that I know haven't taken too well. And there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. It's such a pretty stamp set. I am now going to take the black embossing powder. I'm using just a spoon to sprinkle that on. And as you can see, those who haven't done this before, this technique, the embossing powder sticks to where the VersaMark is. It's very rewarding, this technique. Wait till you see that you heat it up and it all melts, and it's lovely. So I am now happy with that, or just maybe a little bit more in that corner. Tap it off. I just tap it into the container. I find it really handy decanting your embossing powders into a container. It's just less mess, less cleanup. I use a soft, dry brush just to remove any stray little bits. Coming with my heat tool. I always heat my tool up for a good 30 seconds before hitting the cardstock. The reason I do this is because it will melt the embossing powder quicker and reduce the amount of warping to the cardstock. For my card base, I'm using some black cardstock, a piece that's 21 by 19 centimetres, that's 8 1/4 by 7.5 inch. And I have scored that down the middle at 9.5 and use my bone folder to form the card base. I'm taking my card front that I've made with my lovely inks and the heart, and I am going to, off of camera, I did do the same technique, heat embossed the sentiment from that set, Happy Birthday, on a 1 centimetre strip of black. And you can see I love the white on the black, it just really pops out. I decided I wanted, with most card fronts, I've always got a bit of foam there somewhere to pop up the sentiment, and I place that in the middle of the heart. And I'm really loving this colour. It's so bright, and I just love the colour, the bright colours, the rainbows against the black, and then the black of the heart really pops. So don't forget to check out the video below where you can find out more about the VIP rewards program and get this lovely stamp set come 1st of October for free. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this card. If you did, it would be lovely if you could let me know by hitting like and maybe leave me a comment in the comments below, because I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe and click the bell, and then you won't miss any of my videos. I post videos here every week. Card making tutorials and scrapbooking, pretty much all things paper crafts. So I hope to see you again. Alright, have a great weekend. Bye.